My name is Igor. I am from project Oracle's Network. So Oracle's Network is a new blockchain based on Ethereum protocol with a new type of consensus called proof of authority. So this consensus is reached by independent validators. So what's actually is, what kind of problem we're trying to solve? So if you're an Ethereum user and you used Ethereum like a year ago, the price for one token was like $10, and now it's more than 300. So for your D app, execution of your D app is 30 times more. And this is a price we pay because of all things we have in this ecosystem happening. And we believe that smart contracts platform should be more available to general public, and that's why we're trying to build a smart platform which is cheaper and faster, and also it's based on best practices we already have now. So Ethereum is good because it's already quite a standard for smart contracts platforms, and there are a lot of developers, a lot of applications built on top. But how can we build a new platform using Ethereum which will be cheaper and faster? So we use so-called proof of authority. So proof of authority is a new algorithm. It is a simple form of proof of stake. But instead of stake, validators put their identity as a form of stake. So for each validator is like, let's think about it's like one token, and each validator receives the same reward as other validators. So let's say if we have 2 participants in the network, each validator will receive 1 coin each round of the network. And this consensus is quite simple, and but we need to set up this network this way that general public will believe that the stuff is trusted, and the validators are actual persons. So who is a validator in our network? So it's a person with known identity, and there is a way to cross-validate this identity. What does it mean? So we have each validator has his own mining key, and this mining key we connect this using some decentralized identity app with the pieces of identity from real world. So let's say we have proof of physical address, where the app where a validator can connect his mining key with his physical address, and therefore any concerned third party can cross-validate his identity without trusting to this to his information, because it's provided by decentralized Oracle. And from the other side, we have governmental services where you can validate identity of validator. So to be able to make this, we use licensed professionals, and in our use case, we use US public notaries as validators, because as a public notary, your identity is public. So any concerned third party can go to a governmental website and check identity of each validator. Information like physical address and full name is available to anyone. And there is a way how you can verify this identity, and therefore you can connect Oracleized information on-chain and the information on a governmental website, which is a kind of Oracle. So there's also a role called Master of Ceremony. It's a person who set up this type of network. When we set up and start this network, someone should distribute keys to all participants, to all validators, and this person actually started a new network, and after this network operated by validators using self-governance mechanism. So here's an example of our validators, and there are public notaries in different states, and I can see some validators of our network here. And these validators secure our test network, and for a main network, we'll have 25 validators. So it's easier because when this open network will be established and will be connected to exchanges, and will be some trust which people who will participate in crowd sale will put into this network. It will be simple to make a fork of this network, like to start another network based on the same set of validators or a new set of validators, and therefore to use this type of consensus. So what are use cases for cheaper and faster Ethereum network? So we believe that right now projects who are building on main Ethereum network, they can move to new blockchains, especially if we will provide them a way how they can migrate their state to take the data they already have clients and move them to a new network. So developers can develop the same DApps they already developed on main Ethereum network, and obviously, it can be any type of DApp we already have. So because this consensus is also movable, we introduce idea of consensus as a service. So let's say one organization would like to start their own open network, and the problem here how they will secure this network. So right now, if you think as an organization how to set up your own network, you have some options like proof of work, proof of stake, and proof of authority. But let's say if it's proof of authority, what we usually call private network for in current use cases, how to make these authorities open. So if you see an example where someone used already this proof of authority with open network, you can take the same mechanisms, the same mechanic, and embed it inside your open network. So, what's the biggest features of Oracle's network? So we have a faster block time, and there is no mining. So that means that computation spent on reaching consensus is we need much lower amount of computations. We have built-in governance. So using this type of governance, validators can self-govern themselves. So after we set up this network using master of ceremony, we can validators will be able to add or remove validators without master of ceremony or people who set up this network. So it's self-governed. So we can make legally recognizable hard fork decisions. And if you know about story of Ethereum last year and this year, probably in some cases, general public will have ways to protect them from decisions of meritocracy, like people who are on top of developers' ecosystem. So it also can be a model for hybrid networks. Hybrid networks means that we can connect open networks and private networks using bridges. And bridge is a very natural way of connect networks based on POA consensus. And also the network itself supports some DApps which are beneficial to start this type of network. So let's call them proof of identity DApps, self-governance DApps, and this type of applications can be used by different parties. So we work with industry leaders. Satoshi Fund is our first investor, and we are a technology partner of Parity Technologies, who are creators of Ethereum. And we're members on the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance and International Organization for Cryptographic Research. So we plan to start our main network in November 2017, and we will perform the first in history cross-chain ICO. So ICO will be conducted on main network. So funds will be collected on main network, and using decentralized bridge, tokens will be unlocked on Oracle's network. And we think this will be a new way of creating ICO cross-platform. So people will collect money on one network, but they will run their token, they will run their software on another network, which is cheaper, faster, and allows more upgradable, let's say. So Oracle's network is a first Ethereum-based public network with this type of consensus, and this consensus is reached by independent validators. Think about them as individuals, and we have lots of models like this in real life. It can be juries, it can be all type of governmental services where we have open interfaces, so you can walk in. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can ask for some services, you can transact with this open network, but also they have some limitations and some so-called permissions. So we believe this is a kind of future of Ethereum scalability, horizontal scalability of Ethereum networks. And we plan to launch this first Oracle's network first instance in November. And we have some agreements with other startups who would like to build on top of Oracle's network and build their own POA networks with consensus as a service as one model, or a different set of validators. So we use public notaries, but think about, some organization can use attorneys, they can use doctors, airplane pilots, whatever, because if professionals are, can be cross-validated and we can put some trust into them, we can use them to reach consensus on this type of network. Yeah, so thank you very much for having me here. Yeah, thank you.